Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have news about focus groups that I've been waiting for. These are exactly what I was expecting. Just so you guys know up front, great results in these two focus groups. So these were Engageus focus groups. There were two conducted, a total of 11 participants in these two groups combined. I know, as people always point out, oh, well, that's barely anybody. It's such a small sample size. Yes, I get that, but it is indicative of a trend that we're seeing away from Donald Trump. So as the months have gone by, I have seen slow erosion in Trump's support from people who voted for him, which is what these groups were or are. These were Georgia swing voters. So these were people who went for Biden in 2020, and then for some unknown reason, they decided to go for Donald Trump in 2024. So I have been seeing the progression away from Donald Trump, and these were by far the worst results for him. And I have to say, these two groups were more intelligent and more informed than the participants in most of the recent groups. Not that there weren't some intelligent and informed people in some of the groups, but overall, they were not good. It made sense why they're swing voters and why they voted for Trump. I will say there was one woman in one of these two groups who lacked any and all critical thinking skills. Of course, she is still all in for Trump. So, and you're going to hear more about her as I go through this. So here's the breakdown of the groups. As far as party affiliation goes, 3 of them considered themselves to be Democrats, 2 consider themselves to be Republicans, and then 4 of them said, no, I'm independent. For some reason, they didn't have a tally on everybody. I think there were people missing from each of the groups. So in any case, that's what I have. And then here's what the participants had to say when they were asked about their top concern or their top issue. So I'm just going to run through these. So 1 said unemployment, 2 said inflation, 1 said government overreach. He didn't say those specific words, but that's what he meant. Another said the economy and failure of the dollar. 2 said mass shootings. 1 said authoritarianism. 1 said financial markets. And did Trump open his mouth today? Another said tariffs. 1 said terrorism for some reason. They also asked these people, which was very interesting, they asked them about this whole Texas gerrymandering issue that's going on. For those of you who don't know, maybe you might be in another country, so you haven't heard of this, or if you're just super busy. Basically, in a nutshell, Texas is getting pressure from Donald Trump. And so they have said, okay, we are going to redistrict all of the previously drawn districts in Texas. And this is not only highly unusual, but it's not supposed to be allowed to be done this way, because the redistricting takes place every 10 years when there's a new census issued. So we are at the 5-year mark, and they're trying to do this. It's very clear why. It is very clear it's because Donald Trump and the Republican Party know that they are in trouble. They see the polling. No matter what they say, no matter what Donald Trump spews out of his pie hole over on Liars Social, he knows he's losing. He knows this is not good news for him. He knows that the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for the Republican Party. And so they are trying to rig it. They can't win with policies. They can't win legitimately. So they're trying to rig this whole election. So other states now have said, we're going to do the same thing. If Texas is going to do this, we're going to do the same thing. Because basically what Texas is trying to do is redraw the lines so that there are no more Democrats. They're trying to basically draw out, like bar 5 Democrats from holding office, from holding a House seat in the United States House. So other states, you may have heard, Gavin Newsom in California, he has said, fine, then I'm going to do the same thing. We'll get 5 new Democratic seats and we'll push out any Republicans in the state. So anyway, they asked people about this, or they asked these participants about this. They said, do you think it's appropriate or inappropriate? Out of the 11 people, even the one woman who is still all in for Donald Trump, they all said it was not appropriate. Not a single one of them said, yeah, they definitely should do this. And most of them expressed concerns and said, yeah, I'm worried about this ending up being like a tit for tat scenario where everybody just does whatever the hell they want, whenever they want. Nobody's following the laws, nobody's following the rules. And then we end up, with just partisan boundaries in every single state. And, the people who are in those states who don't think the way the majority do, they're screwed. So 10 out of the 11 said that they think the Democrats did the right thing by leaving the state. I'll let you guess which one disagreed with that. So even many Donald Trump voters, 2024 Trump voters, disagree with how the Texas Republicans are overreaching on this. They also asked these people, what emotion does Trump evoke in you when you see him on TV or you see him on your device? Not what he's thinking or feeling, but what you feel. And I will say, in every single focus group, the men have the hardest trouble with this. They have the biggest issue with actually describing what they're feeling, which, I mean, makes sense, right? Men have a hard time discussing their feelings in general. So yeah, they never, the moderator always has to explain, no, I'm not asking you what you're seeing. I'm not asking you what you're thinking. I'm asking you, how does he make you feel? So here are the answers. Indifference, cringy, betrayed and upset, confused, small degree of hope, fear, disdain and disappointment, stressed out, glad, annoyed, and exasperated. Not exactly what you want to hear about how you make people feel. And the tide is definitely turning against Trump because in the past, you had more people approving of what Trump has been doing than disapproving. That has completely shifted. So they asked these people again, do you approve on the whole? Not, you don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to disagree with everything. Overall, do you approve or disapprove of what Donald Trump has done so far in this term? 3 out of 11 approve. That's it. 8 out of 11 disapprove. And the one woman, the dimly lit bulb, she cited Doge's findings as her reason for approving of Donald Trump's administration. This woman actually still believes that Doge found fraud in the social security department. But here's what one of these disapproving participants had to say. So take a listen to this.
At the Epstein list, which he ran off of, which has not been released, you got alligator Alcatraz, which is like human rights violations, and you got basically American citizens almost being deported just because they have an opinion, and like censorship, First Amendment.
Yeah. So they're not digging it. They're not seeing the benefit of all of this. And there are many more where that came from. So I'm going to be sharing those with you guys in the FAFO videos this week and probably over the course of the next couple of weeks because I have so many of them. There were so many negative comments about Donald Trump right now. So, anyway, be sure to check those out. And then, beyond all of the negative comments about what Trump is doing, here's what really told me that things are changing and that the winds are shifting against him. They asked these people, and they asked this pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, they asked this in every focus group. If you could go back in time, if you could do it over again, would you vote for Kamala Harris? Now, in previous focus groups, the answer was almost always no. At the very most, you'd maybe have like one person who said yes. There were a lot of people who would say, oh, well, I wouldn't vote for her, but I wouldn't vote at all. This was the first time we had a majority that said yes. 6 out of the 11 said yes. And then a couple of them said, yeah, I would probably just not vote. And I have to call out that one woman, or not that woman. I take it back. This is a different woman. There was a woman who said no, that she wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris. And here's why. She said, oh, well, I'm Jewish. And so, I basically was a one-issue voter, basically on Israel. And she said, I feel scared, or I felt scared walking down the street. And I didn't think that Harris would do anything about it. She hadn't said anything about it. Okay, I'm throwing the bullshit flag. First of all, you couldn't tell that this woman was Jewish. So why do you feel scared walking down the street? No one knows you're Jewish, lady. You're just another white woman in America. Second, did this woman not see Trump's tiki torch brigade, right? His little, tan pant brigade with their little tiki torches back during his first term chanting, Jews will not replace us. Every anti-Semite is a Trump supporter. He has all the white supremacists. He has all the neo-Nazis. Many of them were at the Capitol on January 6th. What is this woman thinking? I'm done. I'm done with the bullshit and the insincerity and the cowardly smear of calling people an anti-Semite because they disagree with murdering innocent Palestinians. So, no, I'm not putting up with it anymore. All of these Islamophobes in the comments section, go peddle your BS somewhere else. All your BS excuses, all of your dodges, all of this, trying to put it on other people. Oh, well, if you care that Palestinian babies are being blown up, then you must be an anti-Semite. Go think that. Go on, go think it. And you know what? You're ruining Israel. You're destroying Israel. You're destroying the support for Israel with that bullshit. So keep at it. Keep doing it that way. Think whatever you want. Anyway, they also asked these people if they were more anxious or less anxious about the economy since Trump took office. This again was very telling. 0 out of 11 said that they are less anxious. 11 out of 11 raised their hand and said, yes, I am more anxious now that Donald Trump is in charge, including that one woman who is still all for him. So, and here's what one of them had to say about this.
Seems like every other day there's a new tariff or he's pissing off some other country, and just every single day there's more news about inflation and job losses. It just keeps getting worse and worse. We're hemorrhaging. It's crazy.
Yeah. So again, I'll have more of those videos for you in the upcoming FAFO videos. But here's the thing. So they asked them, who's more responsible for the current state of the economy? 9 out of the 11 did say Trump, the vast majority. 2 out of the 11 said Biden. And again, I'll let you figure out which of the two. So yeah, that one woman, the dimly lit bulb, Yeah, blaming Biden 7 months into Donald Trump's presidency. They also asked them, do you support or oppose Trump's actions on tariffs? Only 3 out of the 11 said they support it. 7 out of the 11 said they oppose, and then 1 said, I don't really know enough to have an opinion. So it is not looking good. It is not going good. This is exactly why the Republicans are now trying to gerrymander the maps. This is exactly why they're panicking and they're freaking out and they know that they're in trouble. If they had confidence that what they were doing was correct and that the American people were on board with it, they wouldn't be redrawing maps right now. They would just be sitting back. They would be promoting everything that they've done. Instead, they're running away from it. So, tells you everything you know. The only people who are on board with this are the hardcore MAGA base who are living on another planet and don't ever step out of their little media bubbles to see the truth. That's just the way it is. It's just a simple fact. Intelligent people, they look for information even if it conflicts with what they previously thought. That's just a fact, just a hardcore fact. So anyway, guys, I will let you know when I hear more, when there's another focus group. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.